Okay, welcome back to Spitfire Engineering. This is episode 6 and good news for regular subscribers. This week, starting this week, we're going to go to weekly episodes. So there'll be another episode next Sunday at 8 o'clock in the morning, and we're going to continue that every week after that. Now in this episode, we've got a guest. Name's Archie, and coming up, he'll be telling you how the cultivar works. So I'm back in the yard this morning, and I thought I'd just show you how we're getting on with the mobile picking line. So I'll just spin the camera around and I'll show you how we're getting on. So most of the cladding on the outside is now done. There's a few bits to finish off. I'll just show you these bits here. There's some panel work still to finish in these gaps here down the side. Just to tidy up, there's some more panel work to go in there. All the panel work on. And it's all been sealed up on the outside. I'll just take you inside and I'll show you what's going on in there. So this is the inside. What we're going to do now, they're going to tidy this up, finish off some of the panel work, and then they're going to get this painted. So we're going to get this painted as it is on the inside and out, get the painting done, and then in these panels here between the box section we're going to insulate it. The original plan was not to insulate it, but in hindsight, if you were in here outside on a hot summer's day, I would think it'd be pretty warm in here. So we're going to insulate it to try and reflect the heat in the summer and retain the heat in the winter. So the plan is we're going to insulate between the box section in the sandwich that's formed by the 40x40 box that we've used, and then on the inside we're going to put some zinc sheets. So that comes as flat sheet and has got a zinc coating on it, so it's weatherproof, and also because it's going to end up being sort of silver in colour, it will mean that it will reflect any light that's in here. So we've just been discussing how those sheets are going to go on, because we've had it on the CAD and it all looks good, but things like this, for instance. So we're going to put the ceiling sheets into here and they'll come to here. But then when we put this panel coming up here, it will butt up against the ceiling sheet. But because we've got a beam here and a beam across here, we're worried that there might be a bit of a sag between these two. So we've got to make sure that we put the roof sheet in first, and then the wall sheet will come up against it, and then it will be sealed around the joints. But then in the middle here, because of this here, we can't actually get the tech screws in, because obviously we've got this beam in the way. So what we're going to do is we're going to extend the sheets past the box section and cut another panel that will fix along this box section here, and it will come up and have a return fold at the top. So that return fold there will push the sheets up flat, and then we'll do a run of tech screws down both sides of the beam. So that will sort that out. And this is now going to go back to diesel. So what will end up in here, this beam here that comes across the top, this lower beam, that's destined to have some internal lights on there. So there'll be some lights on there. Probably going to put a motion sensor on the lights. So as soon as you come in, the lights come on, and then obviously when you leave, they'll go off on a timer. So the lads are going to get this painted now. We'll pick this up again and we'll be able to see the inside getting finished out with the insulation and the zinc sheeting on the inside. And then hopefully at that point we can then start doing some of the final assembly on it. In the small fab workshop, work continues on the double deck screens for the oil processing plant. This is going to be one of the top screens. In this workshop we've got Harry, who's a potential new apprentice that we're running through his paces today, just to see how he gets on, see if we like him, see if he likes us. And we've also got Connor in this workshop. We need a bit of media training for everybody around here, just so they're a bit more comfortable on camera. But we'll work on that, Connor, won't we? So what are we doing on this thing, Connor? Hold on, let me get the mic.
We've got section frame 4, then we've got the two bottom left and right outside, and then we've got the left side of the second stage.
So what's the plan with this then? This is going to be the top frame, and then what else have you got to do to this?
We've got, I can show you a drawing.
Yeah, have you got the drawing?
This top bit. So we've got that post there, that bit there, that bit there. We've already made the legs up, which is behind you. And then after we've done that, we'll make the bottom frame, and then we'll just connect it all together with the legs.
So this bit here that we've got here, which part on the drawing is that? That's the top part, and then you've got some legs over here. So these legs here have already been prefabricated, and they're now going to be welded on top of this frame here to be one of the top sections to go on the double deck screen on a platform for the oil recycling people.
Now every month we go down to London to do a safety inspection for one of our customers. We've done this probably for the last 12-18 months. So what happens is Jaimo goes down there every month and just as a checklist, and he goes around and he notes down all the things that are wrong with the plant, and it's a maintenance record so that if there's any problems in the future, the customer can prove that there's been a routine inspection and any remedial works, anything that's been found has been carried out. Now this customer is one of the largest, I think they probably are the largest catalytic converter processors in the country. They also do aluminium, stainless steel, copper. And Jaimo's gone down this month and he's taken a camera with him. So what you're going to see next is Jaimo and what he's found down there. Now I've done the voiceovers on this because it's quite a noisy environment, so Jaimo couldn't talk whilst he was down there. But I'm going to do the voiceover for you and explain what's going on. So the catalytic converters on your car come to this place here, and this is them cutting the canister that's your catalytic converter in half. So it's cut in half using this guillotine, and the material inside, that white powder inside, is actually what they're trying to recover. That's what's got all the precious metals inside it, and that's where the value is in the catalytic converters. So this is the back of the machine. I'll just show you the guillotine machine. That's at the top there, and the powder falls down those chutes into this bag here. Now the material going in here is quite valuable. I can't remember the value of it, but it's not cheap stuff. So you've got all these chutes at the back of the machines. The powder comes down into the white bag, and this chute here is where the metal canisters that make up the catalytic converter falls down into this bin at the bottom. So this is what actually cuts the cats up. This is basically a guillotine. There's like a V-shaped blade that comes down and actually cuts the catalytic converters in half. Now the catalytic converters is basically a metal canister with some ceramic inside and some precious metals. One operator cuts the canisters in half, passes them to his colleague down this chute, and this guy then empties all the powder out inside. Now that powder, as I say, is made up of ceramic and all sorts of precious metals, and that's where the value is. That's why they're actually recovering this material in the first place. And then the empty canisters, once they're done, emptied like that, they get thrown down a chute, and then they go through a trommel. We've made this company 3 small trommels that they use to just get the final residue out of the empty canisters. As I say, also on this site, they process copper. So the copper wire, anything like that, gets put through a shredder and then a granulator to create a really fine sort of cut material. This table here, I don't know what they call it, but I'd call it a wave table. This separates the cable that goes through, it separates the copper from the cable. You see the copper coming through here now, and then that goes up and gets graded in that screen that you can see moving on the left-hand side of the screen. And it's really clever how it separates the plastic from the copper. You see the plastic coming through the bottom there now, and then this is the screen, and this is just cleaning it up and resizing it. And this is the copper, and this is pure copper, and this will get sent off for melting down and reusing. Just leaving the oil recycling company that we're doing the pallet conveyor and the double deck screen for on the platform. Called up last week asking me to come to site to discuss some other jobs they've got for us. This is what usually happens on big projects like this. You get involved in certain things at the start, then as the job progresses you get asked to do more. So the new job that they've asked us to come and have a look at now, the pallets coming in and out of the building, they've asked us to look at some pallet roller conveyors to bring the full pallets in with the oil on and to take the empty pallets out of the building. So I'm going to come up with a proposal for that, put a price in and see how we get on. So I'm just going to head back to the yard now, see how the lads are getting on in the workshop. They've had a change around in the workshop. The mobile picking line is out of the main workshop and is now in paint, and that space in the workshop we've put the frame for the double screen deck that's going on the platform. So we're starting to build that up and do the dry fit in the workshop on that now. So I'm just having a little wander around the workshop, just see how the lads are getting on in here. They've all gone home now, so they've all packed up for the day, but I thought I'd just come have a little wander around and see how we're getting on with the 2 major projects we've got on in the workshop at the minute, which is the picking line and also the twin deck oil screen. So just spin you around. We've now moved the picking line out of the main workshop and we've now started to put together the framework for the oil screen. So just spin you around and see what we've got in here. So they've started building up the 2 bottom sections of the screen frame. We've got the bottom sections there, and then they're making up the top sections here. Got these bits here for the walkway, this bit here, and just this beam here. This is upside down at the minute. You see the legs, those 2 legs there will be bolted onto the main frame. Got some more components there to go on, and then there's another frame here. So the screen is going to sit here on this one, and then we've got the walkway that's going to come along here, across here, and then we'll go out this way on the other frame that's over there. So hopefully tomorrow these will get finished, cut off the sacrificial steady bars that they've welded in just to keep everything nice and square. And we'll get that stacked up, and then we can start doing the walkway on top and also the stairs. The idea is that we're going to do the stairs and the walkway on this, and then once we've done that we can then dismantle it, lower it all down. The bottom sections can go off for paint as well as the stairs,
And then the top sections will sit here in the corner, and we'll put the deck screens on top and all the other bits and bobs that go with it. And then that can get stripped down and gone for paint. And then this is going to be then done, and we'll probably sit here for a little while because this same customer is having the pallet conveyor as well as an IBC oil drain tank that we're making for them. And these are going to be installed early September. So this will probably sit completed here until we do the other jobs for them, and then it'll all go to them in early September. But we need to get these cleared up out of the main workshop so we can get on with 4 conveyors that need doing for a company in France. So we're going to start the build on them next week. Spin this round. So yeah, we've got 4 conveyors to do for a company in France. We're going to start the build on them next week. They are due for installation and delivery early to mid-August next month. So we need to get on with them. So we need to get this framework all cleared up so we can make some space in the workshop so that we can start on the conveyors. So we've brought the mobile picking line into the small fabrication workshop, and it is a bit of a tight squeeze because we needed the space in the main workshop, and this is the only space we've got to finish this off for final assembly. It's been in the paint shop. It's had a lick of paint around the outside and inside, which I'll show you in a minute. But yeah, it's in the small fabrication workshop. As I said in the last video, we are desperately short of assembly space, so we constantly changing stuff around in the workshops because we're trying to utilise the space that we've got. But hopefully if we can get that additional space down the side of the main workshop, then that will make things a bit easier and the work will flow through better, because we do spend too much time moving things around just to try and utilise the space that we have got. So let's have a look inside this picking line. You can see what we've been doing. So it's a bit dark in here because the light's not very good in here, but you can sort of see where we've got to it now. All the insulation is inside in here, and you can definitely see the 2 windows that we've got in here. Same the other side. So the lads are now going to put zinc sheeting on the inside of this. This is going to be fixed to the box section in here and around the windows. The windows will now get put in, and then they can start building it up, fitting the rollers, fitting the belt and fitting the greedy boards. As you can see, it's a little bit of a tight fit in here. The roof in this workshop's not particularly tall, but it does fit. I think the last time you saw this it was unpainted. Well, now it is painted. And we're now towards the final stages. Because we've changed from electric drive to diesel fairly late on, there is still the engine enclosure to make, and that is going to sit here between the wheels. So we've got a Kubota diesel engine and a hydraulic power pack to go in there, and then that will power a gearbox which will sit up here. I have a gearbox mounted here that will drive the main head drum here with a conveyor on it, and it'll also power the overband magnet which will sit in this area here. So there'll be some hydraulic pipe work to bring up to them. We're also, because we've got hydraulic jack legs and also the hydraulics that are going to lift the steps up and down, there is probably going to be a hydraulic valve mounted here somewhere that will control the legs and the steps running up to the platform. So yeah, this is coming on nicely now. Hopefully this will be done fairly soon, but this project may get shelved in the next week or so to more urgent projects which are for paying customers. Obviously this one here is our own project. This is our demo stroke hire unit which we're building. We have got customers interested in this, but this at the moment hasn't got a home. It's going to be our stock machine or for hire. So because of that, and we've got paying customers that need work doing, this will probably get shelved and finished off at a slightly later date so we can get on with more urgent stuff. So I'm back in the yard on Friday. I've been on site the last couple of days and couldn't do any filming because it was a job that the customer wouldn't allow us to film. So I've been away, back now, so I'm just going to have a look around the workshop and see what we've got in the yard going on and what I've missed whilst I've been away. We seem to have a lot of material turn up in the last few days for a lot of jobs. I'll just spin the camera around. So we've got some channel and some box sat out in the yard at the minute. I think they're going for the oil screens. We've got the internal panel work cut for the mobile picking line. Got a pallet of cut parts, not sure what they're for. Got some box section for handrail for the oil screen. We've got some of the walkway made up for the oil screen. And what else have we got in here? The belts here for the 2 belts. That one's for the overband, and that one's for the main picking line. So they've come in. Got some channel for the walkways on the oil screen. More box section for the handrails on the oil screen. This is going to be the walkway that we're going to use. These are the steps. So this is a GRP, and it's also, if you can see, it's got like chips bonded to the surface, so it's anti-slip. We wanted to use this material because obviously it's in an oil environment, and if there's any oil spillage, we felt that if we used metal open mesh flooring, it would still be a little bit slippy. So we've used this to try and minimise anybody slipping over. We've also got some other walkways being made. Actually, no, these aren't walkways. These are the subframes for the 4 conveyors that are going to France. So we've got one made down there on the floor, or part of one, and then another one being made here. On the plasma cutter, we've got some sheet being cut. These are going to be the sides for the conveyors to go to France. So we're just wading through, I think there's something like 16 sheets of material being cut for this. So the cutter's just finished this program. And then we've got some profiles here on this pallet. So we're going to get all the material cut, get the brake press set up, and then fold all of them as one, so they're all the same. If we do them bit by bit, sometimes you can't replicate the folds exactly. So the plan is to get all of this cut, get the brake press set up, and do them all in one hit. We've got some more steel here. This here on top here, this is aluminium. This is going to be the scrap chute for the mobile picking line, and then these sides here are the support plates that go with it. So that will get folded and fabricated, and then when we do the final assembly on that, which is getting pretty close, we can start bolting them on. Got a big piece of tube here. I think that's about 320 mil from memory, roughly. That there is going to be used for the head and tail drums on the 4 conveyors to go to France. It's a bit bigger than we normally use, but the main reason for that is the belt going on this is going to be a bit different to what we normally have. The belt going on those conveyors is going to be puncture proof, so it's reinforced and thicker than the belt that we normally use. It's also got flexible sidewalls, which when it's fitted, I'll show that on video so we know what that means. And because of that, we've had to go to a bigger diameter. The belt people have specified the drum diameter that we need to use, which is bigger than what we normally have. We normally have 220 mil head drums. That's normally fairly standard for us. But this has gone to 320. Next to it, we've got a pack of steel. I think this is it's here, it's being cut for the conveyor sides, just there. And we've got some channel cut here.
And you can see that's all been pieced together to create the radius. I'll have to do a video of the CAD to describe what these conveyors are going to look like, because this doesn't probably mean a lot to you at the minute. So I need to show you a video of what it's going to look like when it's finished. There's some more there, and got some more steel over here. It looks like some more zinc sheets to be the cladding on the inside of the mobile picking line. And then we've got some profiled components here. They're going to be the head drums and the other bits and bobs for the 4 conveyors to go to France. I had a little bit of a shock this last couple of weeks. We've had our plasma cutter, the Cutavar, for over 12 months now, and it's been a great machine, to be honest. It's an improvement over the previous machine we had in so many ways, and we've got the capacity to cut bigger sheets compared to the old machine, and got no complaints with it really. The lads get on really well with it. It's been a really good machine, but it's coming up. It's 12 months old now, so it's come up to the time where it's actually due a service, and we asked Cutavar to come and service it, give us a price, and they came back to us with some pricing for the next 5 years for the servicing. And when you average it out per year, it's just over £2,000 per year to service it, which I was a bit surprised at, because I thought it would be 750 quid a year thereabouts to come and service it, guy to come out, clean it, adjust it, lubricate it, check the settings, update the software, sort out any operator issues we had, that sort of thing. And I thought, well, that's 750 quid. And then in a few years' time, there might be some worn parts in there that might want replacing, and you know, we just pay for them as we went. But they've come back and they want just over £2,000 a year on an annual service for the next 5 years. So I've sort of raised the question, because we bought this machine, it's got 5-year warranty on it, which obviously is really good. You know, not many things have a 5-year warranty anymore. So that was really good, major selling point for it. But I felt as though we were slowly paying to rebuild the machine over 5 years with that cost. I may be wrong. Maybe people watching this run different machines, and actually that's a reasonable figure. But I just thought, for what it was, that sounded quite high. So I've gone back to Cutavar to ask them to find out what do they do for the £2,000 a year service, and to see if I've misunderstood something, because I've possibly misunderstood. So I'm just going to see what they come back with, and I'll let you know what the answer is. So I like to pose a question every week on our YouTube channel, and this week is, how many litres of paint do you think it takes to paint our mobile picking line? It's all painted now. Have a guess. Put your answer in the comments so you can get the closest.
This is our Cutavar plasma cutter. It has a 3 metre by 1.5 metre bed on it. We currently have a 2.5 by 1.25 metre sheet of 3mm steel. This is the program I'm about to run. It's fairly full. It's got a conveyor side and 2 conveyor side skirts on it, along with some other small panels. All I need to do now is press play, and it should run. This is program number 5 for our conveyors. We have a lot more parts in this. You can see the toolpath going through the program there. Each individual hole, there's a line going between them all and around the edge, so there's a lot of movement from the torch head here. I'll show you a video in a second of it cutting. This is a screen of our Cutavar plasma cutter. That yellow dot there is the cutting head moving right now. So if I come over to the left here, that is a plasma torch head cutting the sheet steel. You can keep track of where it is, which hole it's cut, which line it's about to cut on the screen live time. So this is the end result. This is sheet number 5. You can see all the small parts have dropped out into the bed, which only take a minute or two just to retrieve. The plasma cutter is really, really precise, so this means that all of our processes from this point onwards will be as quick and as efficient as possible, and ultimately give us a better product at the end.
As you can see, the workshop's pretty full at the minute, to the point where we're actually having to store stuff outside. As I've said in a previous video, we are trying to resolve our space issues with different options, taking on another unit and covering over an area to the side of the workshop. So at the minute, we're having to feel the pain as a business of constantly having to move pallets, store things outside, which is less than ideal. But we have a plan in place, and that will hopefully be resolved in the coming weeks and months. So we're just going to grind through this period and keep going while we're mega busy, and hopefully it'll all come good in the end.
So that's it for episode 6. Thank you for watching. We are nearly at 19,000 subscribers. So if you haven't already, like and subscribe, and make sure you do the little bit that gives you a notification when there's a new episode coming out. Now, as we've said, we're going to weekly episodes from now on, so come back next Sunday 8 o'clock in the morning and you'll see the next episode.
What are we doing today?
I don't know.
Dan, what are we doing today?
No, go away.
Come on, Dan. You doing a bit?
Got Jaimo there with the auto cue. That's what we could do with Jaimo walking around with a big telly. That's what we could do with the auto cue, all the words on it. That's what we could do with.
Oh, that's good.
You don't put on there. You
Thing roll, will you, man? Stop fucking about. Are we still rolling?
Yeah.
Good. Yeah. Welcome back to Spitfire Engineering. This is episode 6, and in this episode we're going to concentrate more on... Oh, why are you laughing?